Good evening and welcome to That's Messed Up. Boy, is it gonna be messed up. I'm your host, Mohamad, and today we're gonna talk about Palestine. Wait, what? We can get censored for this? Dude, aren't we already shadow banned? No, we can talk about Palestine. This isn't Germany. Let's do this. Palestine, home of the olive trees, watermelon, and Hamas. Wait, is that Hamas or hummus? Hummus? Dude, you gotta proofread your stuff. Man. Anyways, today is not a history lesson about how Israel was established through the 1947 UN partition, which made no sense. Nor will we be talking about the 1948 Nakba, whereby Israel genocided thousands of Palestinians, burning hundreds of villages and towns to the ground, and ethnically cleansed over 700,000 Palestinians from their homes. We're not going to talk about any of that, because apparently that's not real, according to Israel. We also won't talk about the millions of Palestinians that exist within the diaspora and have the internationally recognized right to return home, but Israel won't let them. Because those Palestinians, including myself, are also not real. This is all your imagination. But today's show is not about historical facts. It's about propaganda. Israeli Zionist propaganda. Why is propaganda so important? Well, propaganda is to war what ketchup is to fries, what gravy is to mashed potatoes, and what corruption is to politics. It is necessary. It is how we were lied into multiple wars. The war in Iraq over weapons of mass destruction. We were lied into Afghanistan, into Syria, into Libya. We were lied into so many places I lose count. And I hate counting. Almost as much as Israel hates abiding by international law. The law. Such a drag. Propaganda justifies war crimes by dehumanizing the victims. So, let's debunk some of these Zionist myths, some of the Israeli propaganda that they have used over the past 2 months during their onslaught on Gaza. Number 1. The October 7th attacks were unprovoked, and Israel is just defending itself.
It's time to stop!
You know when you start watching a movie halfway through and you're just like, what the hell's happening here? Well, it's that kind of situation. Even though we hear our corrupt paid-off politicians, allegedly, and our biased mainstream media, allegedly, saying Israel is just defending itself.
Israel has the right, and I would add a responsibility, to respond to the slaughter of their people. And we will ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against these terrorists. That's a guarantee.
However, that is what we call in the biz bullshizzle. Now I can talk about the past 7 decades of Israel's oppression and occupation and genocide of Palestinians. I can even serve you that with a side of apartheid. But why do any of that when Israeli media such as Haaretz has done it for us? Yes, Israeli media has been exposing Israel's propaganda and lies pertaining to the October 7th attacks. That's right. Israeli media says that Benjamin Netanyahu is the one to blame for the October 7th attacks due to his policies, his oppressive policies and oppression towards Palestinians, due to the occupation that they've enforced. They blame him for this backlash. That's interesting. We don't hear Western media talking about this. And let's remember, under international law, Palestinians are the ones who are occupied, oppressed, and colonized. And they have the right to resist their occupiers, their colonizers. The Palestinians' resistance is justified under international law. Nothing about this is unprovoked. Occupation is provocation. Occupation is provocation. Hey, that rhymes. Number 2, 40 babies were beheaded. We saw Israel regurgitate this baseless claim. We saw demented Joe Biden, who normally forgets who he is, where he is, and what to say. Somehow he mustered up the strength to also spew this lie.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children.
However, the Israeli army itself has said they don't actually have any proof that any beheadings of babies even happened. And Israeli media like Haaretz, they said this didn't actually happen and that there's no evidence of it happening. The White House also quietly walk back those statements Joe Biden made. CNN reporters also apologized on Twitter for mistakenly regurgitating and spreading this lie. But that definitely did not make the news. Why would the news be honest? On the other hand, Palestinians have been showing countless videos, countless proof of not only beheaded babies, but bodies of men, women, and children, including infants, that have been blown into pieces. Number 3, the resistance killed civilians and hostages. While Israel claimed that Palestinian resistance killed many Israeli civilians and hostages during the October 7th attacks, meanwhile, Israeli witnesses say and claim otherwise. Investigative journalism is great, isn't it? According to Max Blumenthal and the Gray Zone, more and more evidence and testimonies have come out that contradict Israel's narrative. And it appears that Israeli military was ordered to target Israeli homes with civilians and hostages still inside of them. One of the witnesses told Israeli newspaper Haaretz that as desperation began to set in, the commanders in the field made difficult decisions, including shelling houses on their occupants in order to eliminate the terrorists along with their hostages. Even an Israeli woman named Yasmin Porat, she said in an interview, they eliminated everyone, including the hostages. She stated this referring to the Israeli special forces. And the same witness confirmed, in regards to hostages and civilians being mistreated by the Palestinian resistance and being murdered, she said, they did not abuse us. We were treated very humanely. No one treated us violently. Wait, that's not all. Just like a TV show that goes beyond 10 seasons. It gets worse. Pilots of Apache helicopters that were called in on the scene, they admit to shelling everyone. Pilots have told Israeli media they scrambled to the battlefield without any intelligence, unable to differentiate between Hamas fighters and Israeli non-combatants, and yet determined to empty the belly of their war machines. The Israeli narrative about what happened on October 7th is not only flawed, but also there's just a lot coming to the surface, coming to light, that truly points the fingers at themselves. Number 4, tunnels and bases under hospitals. Just like an unskippable ad, we were forced to watch time and time again Israel spew the same old lie. Hamas has tunnels under Al-Shifa Hospital and other hospitals. And they wasted no time in providing proof. Well, with diagrams and blueprints created on Microsoft Paint. And some pretty low-level animation. Showing us, proving to us that these tunnels absolutely may or may not exist. I mean, seriously, all that money that goes towards Israel, their propaganda, and their military to enforce their occupation. And that's the best they can come up with. That's pretty disappointing. Then the golden bullet. They provided us with actual, unaltered, unedited,
unquestionable proof that the tunnels, in fact,
do really exist. Well, actually, it was so poorly done that even the BBC had to call them out. Ah, that must be rough for the BBC to call you out. You're just not giving them much to work with. You're just not giving them much to work with, Israel. And last but not least, number 5. Criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic. Ah yes, the censorship approach we all grew to know and love. Israel lives by a very important motto. When in doubt, shout anti-Semitism. Remember when the UN Secretary General said this about the October 7th attacks?
It is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation.
Essentially stating known facts and repeating what Israeli media has also said. Yet, he was called anti-Semitic and called on to resign by Israel. Israel wants to change the definition of anti-Semitism. They want to adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which isn't about prejudice towards Jews, but also to include any criticism of Israel. Also, side note, if Jews and Arabs are Semites, how can Jews who stand against Zionism, and there are many of them by the way, and Arabs who express pro-Palestinian solidarity, how can they be anti themselves? Yeah, I don't know what kind of drugs they're on, but whatever they are, it's some good stuff. Can I have some? Anyways, as you can see, propaganda for Israel is like oil in the Gulf countries of the Middle East, abundant in supply. Meanwhile, Israel is committing war crimes, violating international law, and they are constantly getting away with it. Palestinians in Gaza have been subjected to unimaginable punishment, and there seems to be no end in sight. And that's messed up.